What's up guys, Chasing Raymond here with episode number 16 of our Williams Revival series on F1 Manager 22. In today's episode we are going to be going to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari in Imola, Italy. So that should be fun. Also, if you're Italian, did I pronounce any of that right? Probably not. It's fine. I wanted it to sound fun and exotic because we are finally going to Europe. So we've got 11 days of admin to go through, but in that admin period we have a research period opening. We have a design complete on our new suspension. We've got regulation vote results, which should have already come through at the end of last episode. And then we've got a bunch of stuff coming through in terms of this is what is happening with our week. Essentially, no underfloor coming in too. We should all be good. We should have a much faster car. And hopefully that will produce much better results because we get to score a point this season. And Piastri and Pourchaire have been a little bit of a nightmare. Pourchaire is on the bubble for the second half of the season. If he doesn't start performing, we're going to go and get Valtteri Bottas. That's the plan. So let's keep going forward and see what happens. Manufacturing complete. There's hopefully on the old suspension that I needed to make more parts of. It is beautiful. That's going to help us make a good start to this episode because that means I can start building new suspensions ready for Imola, which is what we're going to need to get done quite rapidly. So that's a 6-day build. We have 10 days out, which means 2 is going to take 11 days. That's unfortunate. Okay, we'll rush the build then. I guess we'll do 4 of them. If we need an emergency one, we can do an emergency one over the course of the weekend. But hopefully the boys are going to drive like adults this week. That's our sincerest hope. The boys are going to drive like adults and hopefully it will be fine. New suspension manufacturer, that's good. We've got enough spares at least for the rest of the weekend. But we're going to keep going forward because we've got a design completing on our underfloor. Suspension manufactured, low stock on our chassis. I need to make sure I'm not designing a new chassis before I build new ones. Otherwise I'm just going to end up wasting money. Wouldn't be the first time we've done it. We did it last episode. We're not. Okay, good. That means we can at least build new chassis because the boys decided to smash some chassis last time out. So we'll build 2 more. We'll rush them. At least we'll get 1 in time for the race. So we've got a spare in case both drivers decide to have a smashy session, which would not be ideal for us. We've got manufacturing completing on something else. That's probably our first wing. And we've got a design completing on something else as well, which should be magical. Gearbox in poor condition. Thank you, buddy. I forgot to change the internal parts before the race last time out. That was a fun discovery for us. That was the thing I didn't want to learn. Right, new underfloor design complete. Let's manufacture some of those as fast as humanly possible. We've got 3 days till the race, so I guess we're doing 2 emergency ones. So let's get the new design underway before we do that. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that I'm going to have to, not do one or the other. So let's design a new part. We are probably in need of a new chassis. We'll have a little look, see where we rank. I think having more top speed could not be a bad thing. Although there is an argument, another iteration of the underfloor could help. But let's go for more top speed. That's going to be a good thing for us. It'll take us up to somewhere. We have no ATR remaining. And there is an argument I could wait until after the race, do a chassis with some ATR. Let's do that, and then we don't run out of money, which is going to be quite crucial. So, new underfloor design has come in. We're going to have to build ourselves 3 of those, sadly, which is going to cost us quite a lot of cash. But at least that way we have something underway ready for the next race. We've got a little bit into debt, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. As long as we're within the cost cap, which we should be firmly within. We're not going to reach the cost cap, you would think, this season. I mean, yeah, we're well away from that. That's absolutely fine. So let's keep going forward. I need to remember to put the new parts on the car before we go into the race. Otherwise, we're going to look mighty silly having done that. So we'll put the new suspension on the cars. I don't want to click design. I want to click change. Change to the new one. That's what we're looking to do. And hopefully all is going to go really well this week. That's what we're looking for, and we'll also change to the new underfloor, wasn't it? I just did. So we'll change to a new underfloor as well, and hopefully we're going to have a car now that has some oomph to it. Let's have a little look, see where we're at. I mean, we're well up on low-speed corners. That's going to be good. This is a cornering circuit, so high-speed corners are crucial. Medium and low-speed corners are recommended. We've got the third best car on the grid, so points. Big question mark, because the boys always seem to blow it when points are, I think, admittedly last race I blew it on the on the strategy a little bit. It's fine, we don't talk about it. We're going to go for a 10th place qualifying position and reach Q2 just because that's free money. Guarantee finishing position. I can guarantee a finishing position. Let's say guarantee a finishing position of a top 10. That would be a nice thing for us to achieve. That should carry us through nicely. Let's have a little look at the preview before we get into all that racy stuff. So we're in for quite a race week at blah 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 blah. Keep an eye on everything. Good stuff. Circuit plan we've built. Plan the structure. I never look properly at the race prep, and I know I should. I don't know why I don't do this. So the important thing strategy-wise is going to be that we've got medium to hard or hard to soft recommended. I'm not sure why soft to hard is not recommended. We'll have a look at the weather when we get into the race as well, see how that affects things. Where is the thing where it says how long a pit stop takes? That's usually a good thing to know. Pit time was 29%, historically a 100% chance of a safety car. So knowing how many laps a set of hards can do is going to be very important. Okay, let's get ourselves into the race, see what happens. I'll see you when we get lined up for the grid. So with qualifying very much out the way, then this is how we're going to be lining up for the race at Imola. So Charles Leclerc takes pole, Max Verstappen in second, Sainz, Piastri, the first of our drivers, in fourth, Perez in fifth, Pourchaire in sixth, Hamilton in seventh, Russell, Alonso, Ocon, Bottas, Gasly, Magnussen, Norris, Vettel, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Stroll, Zhou Guanyu and Alex Albon brings up the rear. The Aston Martins really are making up a lot of pace. They need to start doing some kind of development on their car, you would hope. But we are ready for race time, and race time is, of course, the most wonderful time of the year. There's electricity in the air, apparently, which is nice. Wish they'd rendered the helmets or rendered the faces of the drivers from F2 and F3 so I could see which driver that was. We're going to assume it was Oscar Piastri because he has had the best of the qualifying. Haas have met their potential in qualifying as well. See Kevin Magnussen getting himself into the car. I think something could happen. There are signs of rain. I mean, it's been cloudy all weekend, so we're not sure. I haven't had a look at the weather report, obviously, because I haven't got into the strategy screen. There may be some rain on the way. That would throw some spanners into the works for sure, because we know Imola in the rain is a very, very different proposition to Imola at any other time of year. That's just how that sort of goes. So we're going to have to make the best of that and do what we can with it. So let's have a look at the strategy screen then, because that's going to be important. We're not seeing any signs of rain, so I guess we can just pick the fastest of these strategies. There might be something a little bit quicker in there if I do a little tweak, because I think we'd want to spend probably more time on the mediums for a better time, would be my guess. Yeah, that's probably the right thing to do. Is there... Just trying to work out 33 laps of 63. I don't think a set of softs will do 30 laps. I might be wrong, but I don't think a set of softs will do 30 laps. So we'll have a little look at that, see what's happening. So the softs, they're not going to work as a strategy, I think, is a thing we can say. So I've just noticed on the right hand side it's saying about current tyres 90%. I feel like there must be a way to do something about that. Let's switch that back to a hards and save that as a strategy for now. Is there a way, I'm sure there's a way I can tell it to put new ones on. I'm sure we have some new mediums, we do. So they're at 100, why is it telling me 90? It doesn't make any sense at all. That's fine. Okay, we're going to stick with that strategy for Piastri. In fact, now I've thought about it, because I know what Oscar Piastri's like on his tyres. We'll keep it like that, but we're probably going to end up going longer on the hards. I mean, I guess there's probably an argument that I can set up to go a little bit faster in the second stint. There we go, that should work nicely. We'll do that for him, and that will hopefully keep him a happy bunny. In terms of fuel, there's a high chance of a safety car. It can't hurt to have an extra couple of laps of fuel. We'll burn it off anyway. We always do. And we'll go full fuel ERS overtake. Good stuff. Happy days. Now for Porsche, he's slightly better at looking after his tyres, to the point where it's not impossible he could get away with doing a one stop onto softs from mediums. It's not out of the realm of the possibility. Let's try and set it up with a set of mediums there, because I think he could make that work. We'll tell him he's going to go on to hards anyway, but if we get to a point where we can get some laps off a soft, we'll do that instead, because I genuinely think he might have that within him to do that. Why has that not gone to +2 like it normally would? We'll go to +1. Is there a +2 option? There's not a +2 option. Okay, we'll go for lap 32 there. That'll work out nicely. That'll be fine. So we'll keep that as the strat. I'm surprised that's not quicker. Is there a way to make that quicker? Probably not. Yeah, we'll go with that. That'll work out nicely. We'll go full fuel, full overtake. But I do think Porsche, he looks after his tyres a little bit better than Piastri does. So as long as he is still on the track, which is always the big concern, it might be possible to, especially with a safety car, we can stretch out those mediums and go all the way to a soft at the end, and he should have more pace towards the back end of the Grand Prix. That would be my hope for this one. We'll see how that all plays out though. We're in position on the cloudy day. We have a lovely 4th and 6th, which should do us nicely. It's hopefully going to be okay. We'll skip that because for some reason it's not recording the audio from those. I don't know why. I apologise if you've been expecting to hear the audio and it's not been coming. I don't know why. We're at 5 red lights, we're away, and let's go on board with Oscar Piastri, because he should be making some big waves in this early going in the Grand Prix. He will be a little bit heavier on fuel than everyone else. Porsche already lost a place to Hamilton, which I guess not super surprising. Hamilton does like a good racy start. We're in a battle with Perez, which is going to go probably quite a long way into this race, if I'm honest, because we shouldn't really be splitting these top 4, but we've somehow managed to do it. We just need to keep ourselves going through this opening part of the race, and we should be in a good position to have a nice result, get some points on the board finally. We of course haven't got any points on the board thus far this season because of the new point system, which is going to drive me mental the entire way through, because, you know, top 10s should be a thing we can guarantee. Top 8s, maybe not quite so much with the car we have right now. Certainly Monaco, I'm not expecting to even finish in the top 10, and Hungary will be much the same because we just don't have the slow speed cornering. We are going for it though. We're going to 2 times speed mode. We're going to have a little look down the inside of Sainz here. We've done it going on the outside the long way round. We can't make that one stick. It was ambitious at best to even try, but once we get the DRS going, there's a good chance we could start pulling away here, and that's, I think, where things are going to get interesting, because Porsche and Hamilton should pull away from Alonso. They should stay in touch with the battle with us. We're still having a little inside. We've got the fastest lap so far of the Grand Prix, so if we can get a little bit of rain right now, that would do me quite nicely, but I don't think it's going to happen. We're just going to have to keep trying to push through. I think Sainz is trying to back us up off of Leclerc and Verstappen. I think that's what's, because he's got the pace to keep up with him. I think he's trying to pull us, or trying to drop us back, which is not necessarily a thing for me to be excited about. It looks like Porsche has made a move over Hamilton. We'll take a little look at that whilst I'm resetting the ERS. Let's see what he's done. I mean, it's not even under DRS here because, of course, not activated yet. He's just made that move work, going into the final corner and pulled it through and he is going to get onto the back of Perez, which is where we need him to be. We are now going to go back on board with, going to the garage first. The team have loved that, which, you know, you'd have to expect we would do, because Porsche has managed to pass on without crashing. We're going to go into a neutral ERS for a while, just to keep things moving. Sainz still backing us up. There's, it's not really sporting, is it? We'll be honest, it's not really sporting, but hopefully we'll get him on the DRS and we can start chasing down Max Verstappen. That would be the ideal. We'll fast forward a little bit through the lap, see if Piastri gets a chance for a good old-fashioned natural overtake on Sainz somewhere, so we can start to close the gap. I say somewhere, it'll be over the start-finish rate when we finally get DRS, hopefully. That would be the time to do it, and then we can start chasing down Max and Charles, who do need us to hunt them down. We have got DRS open. It's a long DRS straight here. I mean, good defending there by Carlos Sainz. Got to give him credit. Porsche probably not going to go for a move on Perez just yet, but he's closed that gap as well. It's going to be a now or never, though. We're going to have to get past on this lap, or we are going to spend a lot of time looking at Carlos Sainz or hoping to make it up on strategy. Either way, bit risky. Not sure that's a thing I want to be playing. I mean, it'd be nice to get the podium, but you know, you've got to be a bit greedy in life. You've got to be a little bit greedy when it comes to Formula One, and being that little bit greedy will hopefully pay off as we go into DRS again. Can we pull off a move here? Still good defending by Carlos Sainz. We've gone for a cheeky move. Can't make it stick. We've pulled out because the track narrowed. That's the story I'm telling. It's not the AI not understanding. We've dropped back now off of Sainz. It's going to be a couple of laps before we wind up for another move. So let's drop to Porsche, see how he's doing in his battle against Sergio Perez, because he is going to start trying to make a move now against on Perez and try and get on the back of Piastri. If we can use our guys to kind of help pull us forward, that wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing in the world. It's a very quick lap, this one as well. It's about a 1:20 lap in the early stages of a Grand Prix, which is good things to know. We aren't doing it under DRS, but of course Perez is getting DRS off of Piastri. Sainz dropping well back now. I don't know if this is a deliberate thing by Ferrari to build that gap and let Leclerc and Verstappen fight it out, but you've got to think, if this is not a deliberate thing, Sainz is not performing for Ferrari this season. Perez has been dropped by Piastri, which gives us the chance to get Porsche past him, although of course that will reignite the DRS train if we do, which is an issue. Perez is sort of backing down a little bit as well, which is a slight concern. Fastest lap for Piastri, showing he has got the pace in the car. If he can just get past Sainz, he might be able to do something to actually progress in this race. He's still going for it. Let's have a look at that battle. Has that battle finished? Looks like it has. Porsche, though, made it past Perez whilst I was checking on this battle. So, all battles, all action going on in this Grand Prix. I don't know if we're going to get a replay even of that overtake. If we do, we'll hop to it. We do get an overtake. Let's have a little look at the overtake here. He's done it into the chicane. God, it's a beautiful piece of work. And he's managed to make it stick coming out the other side, leaving Perez to slot in between us and Hamilton, which is not a place he's going to particularly want to be in, because Hamilton, certainly off the line, was looking very racy. We're now up into 4th and 5th, but, you know, the battle will continue on the track because we know Piastri does have the pace. If he can just get past Sainz, I think he'll leave Sainz behind and maybe force his way up into a conversation with the top two, you would hope. So Porsche really needing to start pulling away properly from Perez. Find himself in a bit of a no man's land though if he does. DRS open, can we make this move stick with Piastri? We haven't quite made it work, and that's never the one. It's never the one. This could be a battle that goes on for a while. I don't really want to be forcing anything just yet because we are still recharging the battery a little bit as well. So that's going to be a question we have to ask. I think we've got to ask the question coming out of this corner though. Let's try an overtake and see if we can make that work. We're going to go with a deploy here. There's a sector 3. What's happened? Oh, Piastri's had an absolute nightmare there. What have you been doing in the background, buddy? You've screwed yourself, really. And damaged the underfloor, which is going to hurt. And he's got in the way of Pourchaire, which has cost Pourchaire positions. Excellent. Good stuff. That's what we like to see. Okay, so we're going to get a neutral on our ERS again. And I think we're going to have to try put all of our focus now into Théo Pourchaire, which makes me slightly nervous because I don't think he's got what it takes to get a great race out of this. Let's have a little bit of a damage assessment. How are things looking there? Minor damage. I don't know how much that's going to affect us. I don't think it will tell me either, which is not terribly helpful. I know it does on the PC one. It gives you a vague idea if you can hover over the information panel. But unfortunately, we're not playing the PC version, so that is not the one. I need to get Pourchaire very, very quickly now past Alonso because Piastri's race is largely done. I mean, we can do a deploy, try and get him back close to Sainz, but frankly, I think it's a losing game. I don't think that's a winning strategy. Well, let's go back to neutral there as well because that's going to be important. We've got to stay in that battle. And I guess Piastri's days of being the fastest man on track are probably well and truly done because he doesn't have the pace to get back up to Sainz naturally. He's not going to have the pace probably. He's got the pace to pull away from Alonso, so we're okay in 4th. An accident for the top 2 could certainly pay off for us. We've got to focus though on Pourchaire because Pourchaire does need to get himself up in front of Alonso. If he can get himself on the back of Piastri without pulling Alonso with him, that could be a winning strategy because we can swap the 2 drivers around, let Pourchaire get on with it a little bit, and hopefully he'll be the guy to catch up to Carlos Sainz. I mean, I wouldn't bank on it, but it's a theory. It's a working theory is what we're going with. You can see the difference in tyre deg as well between Pourchaire and Piastri. Talking of tyre deg, where are we at in terms of everyone else? Pourchaire's not far behind Verstappen and Leclerc. He's sort of in the mix. It looks like a few people have been saving, trying to go that little bit longer, which, you know, could work out going on to the softs later on in the race. I'm not quite sure if it will, but, you know, it's not my gamble to take. I've just got to hope we can keep pace with the cars ahead of us. I mean, at the moment, I can double stack the cars quite comfortably, get them out together, and hopefully we'll be in a good position for the second half of the race, which is not the worst position for us to be in as things stand. I shouldn't need to double stack the cars, that's got to be said. It'd be nice if we didn't have to, but there's nothing really going on for us on track because Pourchaire is slowly making a gap to Alonso behind him. He should be clear of DRS within a lap or 2, the way things are going. There's a sector 3 something or other. Yellow flag, what's going on with that one? Was that Piastri running wide again? I've got a little cheeky feeling it was. It wasn't. It was Kevin Magnussen running wide. What's K-Mag done here? He's just lost it going over the little chicane. It's not the one. Lost a couple of positions for K-Mag. But I don't think he was in contention for much this afternoon anyway. So we'll just have to hope for the best. We still need Pourchaire, though, to be pulling himself away from Alonso. Oh, Pourchaire has had an absolute nightmare in the background. These 2 drivers, I swear, these 2 drivers they're so accident prone. It's not helping at all, and that's cost a lot of positions that now we've got Pourchaire needing to fight his way back up through the field, and he's not great on the overtakes, if I'm being completely honest. He's not a great overtaker, so that could be an issue. Piastri, though, currently running in 3rd. Let's enjoy that for a little bit while we can, because he's 4 seconds clear of Alonso, and that's probably a gap he'll keep. Pourchaire needs to have the run of his life to get himself back up ahead of Russell. He's got Verstappen breathing down his neck, which hopefully if he can stay in DRS for at least a little while. Should work out. I guess Verstappen's gone on to a set of hards. He has done. So, you know, there's still a potential to make up some time there. Piastri up into second. Okay, we're going to enjoy a little bit of Piastri in seconds. Porsche up into seventh in a battle with Max Verstappen. If he can hold him up, this could have a big influence on the outcome of the race, because Leclerc building up a good, or will be able to build a good gap ahead of Verstappen here for the remainder of the race, because we're not coming in for a little while, so we can at least have some influence on the outcome of the race here, which is not the worst position for us to be in as a team, if we're completely honest. Just having any influence on anything really is a good thing for us at this point. Plus, these guys they'll get into a DRS train. You've got to believe Leclerc will get onto the back of Hamilton pretty quick, sharpish. If we can stay involved here, we could be in a really good position. And I say that as Porsche gets absolutely dropped by Leclerc, just for good measure. That will help us out not at all, because Leclerc is going to go on a bit of a mission here. But, you know, there is also a bit of a game of chicken to be had, because everyone else is on hards from the start, so, you know, we could get a bit of an undercut. I mean, Piastri is doing very, very well to stay where he is in the grand scheme of things. It's got to be said, he's doing a very, very good job of things. As, to be honest, is Porsche doing a really good job of holding Max Verstappen behind. This could really shake up the running order. It could even push Sainz up into a second place net, because that gap between us and Leclerc is building, and Verstappen is not actually doing anything that looks like gaining, which is, I guess, okay. I mean, I think, would it be crazy to do a deploy on Porsche here? Maybe, but, you know, we'll have a go. We'll see if we can push something towards the back end of this stint. See if we can get ourselves back up to Leclerc, maybe. We might have enough about us. It's not likely, but we might have enough about us. We probably don't anymore. And I think probably this is where Verstappen gets back on the hunt behind Leclerc. I don't know if he's got the pace to catch up, but we've certainly done some bridging of the gap for Sainz, which, if nothing else, will be slightly helpful, you'd have to think. Verstappen should get a nice, easy overtake here. Is Porsche going to hold him off? This could be the defensive move of the year if he holds Verstappen off. He's done it, you know. No ERS to use whatsoever, and he has held off Max Verstappen, and Leclerc has got to be absolutely chuckling to himself right now, looking in his wing mirrors, seeing that there is no Max coming up behind him. There is, in fact, no Max in sight, probably by the end of this lap, you'd have to say. Piastri is actually pulling away still from Perez, which is really good. That's a really good thing to see. So we're not out of the running yet. We're not at all out of the running yet for some good points, which is surprising, given that Piastri is for sure carrying quite a lot of damage. It's got to be his pit window soon as well, because he's not going to make it any further than he already has, or much further than he already has, with those tyres at 36%. He's got to be below the curve. He is below the curve. Pit window has just opened, or will just be opening at the end of this lap, which I think means we're going to go one more lap, maybe two more laps. We'll see how the deg goes on this one. Pit window for Porsche, ironically, opens first, which was not something I'd thought through, but you know, it's fine. It's absolutely fine, because Porsche has only just been passed by Max, and we're still doing good things, because Piastri is going to drop in ahead of Porsche. That's a guaranteed, I think, at this point. And Perez is only just now starting to make some inroads on Piastri, who's driving with a damaged car, and we're about to overcome lapped traffic, which is always beneficial too. Let's fast forward that just so I can get a bit of a count. It is going to be the end of the next lap. We're going to come in for those fresh boots, and we're not going to go on the push. We're just going to try and get him to the end on those. It's a shame we can't go on to another set of mediums, but Such, unfortunately, is life. We will get what we can out of the mediums regardless, and that should be us looking pretty good. Piastri, I think, is going to come out somewhere around 9th, would be my guess, so that's not too shabby in the grand scheme of things. Might even come out in 8th. I'm not quite sure. We'll keep fast forwarding the fast forward. We're not going to push anything special for Piastri as he just about gets ready to come into the box. 10 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. Was losing a little bit of time to Perez, but I think this is the time to make that move, make it stick. We'll have enough tyres as well towards the end of the race to try and do some pushing, overtaking, be a bit more active than we have been towards the back end. We're dropping down to 8th, 9th, you'd think. Shouldn't go to 10th, but let's not count our chickens. It could be very, very close on the exit to K-Mag, who has had, of course, to come in early with some damage, I seem to remember. We have dropped behind K-Mag into 10th, which is not where we need to be. Piastri 11th, that's a drop. But fresh tyres, we should be okay. Let's see what the curve looks like there. It is just going to be a case of keeping it. In fact, it says we can do it on aggressive, but let's not push our luck. Where's Teo in all this? How's he doing? Is he doing anything to at least pull away from Gasly? This is the optimal pit stop lap for our strategy. We've got a yellow flag out. Is this yellow flag going to turn into a safety car is my big question. Because if it does, we are for sure coming in. We're probably for sure coming in anyway, let's be honest. We're probably for sure coming in regardless. So let's get that done. We'll burn through the rest of these tyres. We know Porsche can afford to have a proper push. He will look after his tyres pretty well in this second stint, which is good. We can do a little bit of a deploy as well, just to try and pull a gap between the two teammates. That feels like it's a really good decision, because if we don't try and pull a gap here, we're going to be in real trouble. We'll go fast towards the end of the lap and see how this pit stop shakes out. Something in the 2.7 range would be nice. 2.6 would be even better. That would be a good place for us to be. We would like to come out ahead of Piastri, but it's very unlikely. We're probably coming out around Bottas. But you've got to think there's still got to be some pit stops to be made ahead of us. 2.8. It's not really the pit stop we were looking for, but we'll make it work for us if we have to. 14th should be fine for 14th. A lot of those guys ahead are going to have to come in for tyres as well. So we'll have a little check on that just once I've had a chance to get Porsche set up onto the just aggressive mode rather than standard. And we'll put his ERS back down to a neutral because he needs to start recovering. Let's just go going with Piastri. We'll have a little look at the tyres as well. Tyres wise, everyone else has pit ahead of us and probably behind us actually. I think we are in a net P9, which is maybe not the ideal. A net P9 and 14 means we've got to do some overtaking, and overtaking is a thing Piastri is capable of when he's got himself a nice car to use. But his car is carrying some damage, so this could go either way. We'll go on board with him, actually, because if we're going to get overtakes done, it's going to be through this DRS zone for sure. We've got to get past these guys, start trying to catch up, put a gap to Gasly is kind of our plan. So DRS open, and we've not really, we're kind of stabbing at the DRS and not doing anything with the DRS. Magnussen and Gasly are just going to get in our way if we don't get past them very, very soon as well, which is a real concern. Actually quite a big concern for us if we don't get past them. Certainly by the start of the next lap, we'll have to really rethink how we push this. Porsche is not doing anything by making a fastest lap, but he does need to get himself onto the back of Ocon, which is going to be an issue. Piastri has overtaken K-Mag, which is going to be a slight boost for our chances. And we've done it into the DRS, got ourselves onto the back of Gasly, all looking pretty tasty and credible. I mean, the team are happy because it's going to be a point if we stay there. But we're going already straight away for the move on Gasly as we come back from the replay. And we've done 2 in 1 lap. Job's a good one. We can start to really, really make the best out of these tyres now. And we have to start trying to bridge that gap up to the pack that are fighting ahead of us. There are 5 cars fighting for second place ahead of us, which means they're going to be slowing each other down, tripping each other up a little bit. It's not out of the realms of possibility that we can get Piastri back into a little bit of a fight here. Porsche is kind of nowhere. We'll do a fast forward zoom. Piastri with his damaged car has taken the fastest lap of the race so far. Piastri and Porsche are in fact fighting over the fastest lap. Guan Yu Zhou has had a wide. Let's see how that went for him. He has probably already been lapped because, let's be honest, the Aston's not great. It wasn't much of a wide. Let's not pretend that was worth worrying about. As Porsche clocks another fastest lap, he's going to be on the back of Bottas very soon. He is going to be very aware he is racing Bottas essentially for a seat for the second half of the season. At this point, Piastri is slowly catching up. We're doing okay. Where are we on the little tyre matrix? We're not quite at a level where I'm comfortable pushing. But, you know, that gap is coming down. That gap is coming down rapidly. Bottas and Vettel have come in, which is going to benefit us a little bit too. Porsche getting onto the back of Ocon. He could get himself in the train behind Gasly, which will be nice. So a little look at that. See, that's a beautiful little train there. And Gasly has got to be breaking it because someone's got to try and make a move on him at some point in the very near future. Probably K-Mag, who hasn't gone for it. Bit disappointing because it looks a little bit like Gasly's being the proverbial cork in the bottle at this stage in the race, which is not what we need him to be. He needs to be doing some pushing. We are in a battle though. Battle with Ocon. Can we get past him? We can. DRS open. Should pull us a little bit closer still to Magnussen and Gasly. Are we going to have a little look at George Russell? I mean, I don't know if we should be able to have a look at George Russell from where we are, but we certainly won't turn it down. We'll have a little look at that replay because we might come back from a replay to another overtake. He's just done it without even DRS, or certainly just coming across the DRS, and made that stick. Job good. We are looking pretty spanking fine for this race. And there are 19 laps to go, 21 laps, sorry I can do math, 21 laps to go in this race, so still something to play for, and he's having a look at George Russell. Théo Pourchaire is feeling quite racy. I mean, he's on about the same level of tyre as Russell. I am keeping an eye on Piastri's tyres as well, because if we can get him onto the back of Hamilton, I think we'll be laughing come the end of the race. But we're not quite there yet, so just save the tyres, slowly catch up. We are going to have to do a save on the fuel, which is not going to help us with the catching up, but hopefully those tyres have got enough in them as well to really help pull us through. Théo Pourchaire, I mean, there's a battle going on there. We should be able to take one of these guys coming out of the final corner, and hopefully we'll definitely get one over the DRS. K-Man's got to be a sitting duck under DRS because he surely doesn't have the grunt in that Ferrari engine, you'd think, to be able to do something, although it looks like he might do. I may have spoken to you. I forgot we're on the Renault power unit, not the Mercedes one. If we'd had the Merc under us, we definitely would have passed him then, as Russell goes for a move on Gasly as well. Big old battle here in the midfield. Russell, is he catching us up? Oh, he's not really catching Piastri up. Piastri still taking a look at Hamilton. And we've gone for a cheeky move up the inside of Magnussen. That's good. Can we make it stick? Get ourselves kind of sat in that battle a little bit better. We've gone up the inside. Can we make it stay there? We're going to be okay, you'd think. I'm going to harvest the ERS at this point, because while we're in the DRS train, we're not really going to lose it. Oh, what's gone on here? We're going for a move on Ocon. That's something that's going on. Can we get a good look at that? Probably not with the camera angles available to us. We are going for a move there on Ocon. I'm just wondering why everyone has come in. Is there a safety car out? There's yellow flags in Sector 3. Who knows something we don't? Are they just going on a 2-stop? They are going on a 2-stop. Alright. That's interesting, because if everyone behind us is pitting and Perez is pitting, I'm going to go on an attack here. I'm going to switch to a 2-stop because I don't see the harm in doing that. And if we can do it, we can pull that off. Just burn through these tyres as rapidly as we can burn through them. Everyone behind us going on to softs is going to start catching us up. Let's see what's going on with Perez. He'll have come out on softs. It's not inconceivable, is it, that we can play a blinder here. Well, it's going to take a miracle, but Piastri is going to certainly maintain that gap. Pourchaire can have a deploy here, and that will pull him back up to the back of Perez quite handily, or George Russell now as things go. This could be one of my best strat plays ever, or potentially one of my worst strat plays ever. Hamilton's already up to the back of us on the softs, which is not hugely surprising. Pourchaire, if I drop him down, can still make it to the end and probably consolidate 7th. It's Piastri where I've got the question mark, though. Because Piastri... Can Oscar Piastri make up that time? It's a big question. Is a big question. And Piastri, is he currently making inroads on to Verstappen? We can find out that information because there's a last lap thing. Piastri is making up time on Verstappen. He's not dropping Perez. He is dropping Russell. Is he potentially in contention for a cheeky little podium if I bring him in? But you know what, I think we've got to go for it. Because Piastri's going to lose time anyway. Let's do it. Why not? 41 laps. I'll easily make it to the end. If I bring Pourchaire in now, where will he come out? He'd come out in 17th. Let's say that's not worth it. Piastri, though, does have enough of a gap where he could make that work. And if nothing else, it's going to put Pourchaire up a position. Piastri's a better overtaker, which is something to consider in all of this as well. Piastri is certainly a much better overtaker than Pourchaire is. So, as long as Pourchaire can kind of hold station, keep himself in a nice position between the two Mercs, he's got the tyres to make it to the end. He's got the fuel if we need to push him later. Piastri's done a 2.8 and is going to come out probably just behind Pourchaire. Let's see where he comes out. This is going to be very, very, very tight. He's coming out just behind Hamilton, but hopefully just ahead of the two Alpines. Is he going to stay in that position ahead of the Alpines? He's going to lose one to both Alpines, but on better tyres. I don't know if those tyres are going to go to the end on on that much push. We'll drop down a little bit, and hopefully we can do something here. Get ourselves back up past the cars ahead. We can get ourselves up with Pourchaire. I think we'll be in a good position. Pourchaire should be in a really good battle, though, now to the end. Should be in a good place. If I can just give him a little bit of extra fuel. What's Russell on? Russell's staying on hards. Slightly better hards than us, but you've got to think he'll have to push to counteract the extra fuel I've just put through the car as well. That would be what you would hope he would have to do. Let's go back to an interval so I can see if we are catching. Certainly, I think we're going to take him through the DRS zone here, coming out of the final corner. So we don't lock up. We haven't locked up. We've done okay. Piastri is still going to be in the fight as well down below to make things work out for us, perhaps in a good way. DRS open. Pourchaire going for the move on George Russell. I said he can't overtake, but, you know, the boy has done exactly what I asked him to do, got himself up into P5, which is quite ridiculous. I don't think he's going to really start closing that gap on Perez. I think top 4 are probably settled. We'll have a little look at that overtake from an off-board nice replay camera view. Just made it work round the outside. It was touch and go, going right into the corner, but he finally made it stick before we hit the apex. That is what we need to be doing. So we are going to be okay if we can just start pulling away from George Russell. You've got to think they've got to swap Hamilton and Russell, though. If you were Mercedes, you'd definitely be swapping those two guys around. I think we're going to do a deploy, see if we can drop George as quickly as we can, just because if Hamilton gets past him, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We can see Perez up ahead. I'm assuming that's Perez. Actually, it looks like it's probably an Aston Martin of Zhou and Albon. Probably both Zhou and Albon are ahead of us. They're having a little battle for last. Nice for them. Good stuff. I guess let me know how that goes for you. We're going to keep pulling ourselves up. I'd like us to not catch Albon and Zhou until we get to the DRS line. That'll be where I'd like to get caught up to them, but we'll see how that goes. We are pushing perhaps a little bit too hard on the fuel, but it's fine. In fact, if we drop that back, we can probably secure having them at the DRS line where we need them. Piastri has passed Ocon in all of that as well, which is nice. We're going to just watch the little battle ahead, which hopefully is going to do wonders for us, not hold us up too much. We do need to be on the back of them. I don't know if we were within a second at the line. That's going to be the real question. Were we within a second at the line? We'll see if the flap opens. It does open for Porsche. That's good. That is good stuff. That'll keep us ahead of Hamilton and Russell. Piastri has set a new fastest lap, getting on the back of Ocon. There could be a pass coming here as well if we're lucky. We're going to go for the dive down the inside. We're not going to go for the switchback. There's got to be a move coming somewhere here. You've got to think. We've got some fuel to play with, so we'll give him that little bit of extra horsepower as well. Help him to get on the back of Russell, because we need him in this fight we're having with Hamilton. Although Porsche's done okay. He seems to have cleared a second, which is good. We're getting past Guan Yu Zhou as well, and we are going to try and make it around the outside of Alonso. Can we get there? Are we going to make this move happen? Could this be a double points finish? It could be. We've made that once. It was Albon we were just passing, by the way. Now we're going for Guan Yu Zhou. Guan Yu Zhou has been passed, and we need to get sharpish on the back of George Russell to make this strategy work until the end of the race. Get in there sharpish. Get Porsche staying as far ahead of Hamilton as he can. We're in a battle with the Mercs for the last 4 points-paying positions. This could be quite a winner here. Piastri's opened the rear wing. He's got to try and get as far from Alonso as he can, just as quickly as he can, honestly. And we're staying in the fight. We've managed to pull away from Alonso out of DRS range, under DRS, which is quite nice. And now we are firmly on the back of George Russell. And George has got to be bricking it. He's got to see those red tyre walls. He's certainly got his engine on the radio going, Piastri's on the softs. You're in trouble, buddy. Just try and hold him off. And that's what he's just trying to do. But, you know, we've got another DRS zone coming if we need it. We're going to get him into the chicane. We've done it. Good stuff there by Piastri. And now our boy wonder can keep trying to pull himself onto the back of Hamilton. Piastri, remember, is a race winner. He is a race winner. Porsche is going to lose this battle to Hamilton. And I think Porsche's battle now is going to be with George Russell. I'm tempted to swap the drivers over. We'll see how it goes, though. I don't want them to hold each other up too much. That's going to be the real concern. I would think Piastri would just take him here and go. He has just taken him and has, in fact, gone. And now we've got 2 separate battles. I want to see where we're at now. We're going to go to the standard with Piastri, try and save a little bit of tyre to the end, because we are going to need it if we're going to be battling Hamilton towards the end of the race as well. There are 7 laps to go. We're going for a DRS pass. We haven't quite got the closing gap, but we will get there very, very soon. You can see this one going right down to the wire. We're going to pull Pourchaire hopefully away from Russell. I don't know if it's going to happen for him. I think Russell's going to stick with him. That's going to be another battle that goes all the way to the end. But we can get Lewis here. We should get Lewis going through the DRS zone. And if we can get Lewis, I don't think we've got much worry about staying ahead of him on pace. If I'm honest, I think we can probably stay ahead. DRS open. We're going for the big move. We're going through it. We're going into turn 1. It's actually technically turn 2. Doesn't matter. We've made the move, we've made the pass, we've made it stick. We are in a solid 5th and 7th. That is definitely points. Let's go off board for that, because that was a beautiful, beautiful move that he's done under DRS there. Didn't even really make a hash of it. Just same pass as we saw before. DRS, hit the apex first. Job's good. We are happy. And now we just need to start pushing away. There's a sector 1 yellow flag. Who's that for? That looks like it was for a McLaren, I think. Looks like a McLaren was going slowly briefly. It was Lando Norris. Where has Lando Norris gone wrong? Oh, he's almost taken out the Haas that's sitting between him and Danny Rick. But he's done well to not lose a lot of time. So fair play to him. And they're way down. 13th, 14th, 15th. Not where you would expect McLaren to be at this stage in a save, it's got to be said. Pourchaire does have a little bit of fuel to play with. We're going to maybe build that up a little bit. We'll go forward a couple of laps. Piastri and Hamilton still very much going at it hammer and tong. Where are we at in terms of being able to save tyres? I don't know if we've got enough tyre to get us to the end if I push. Pourchaire should be well on track. He is well on track to have a good finish. In fact, we can probably go aggressive with Pourchaire to try and help him drop George Russell. We'll give him a little bit of fuel he needs now. That should help as well, and hopefully we can start seeing that gap build to George behind. Really get us a bit of breathing room in 7th. We're there. Fuel's getting low, but put that down to balanced. I hope we can save that before the end of the race. That should be good. In fact, we can probably go 3 laps to go. We can probably go aggressive on those tyres. These ones, we can definitely get away with an attack on that. In fact, we can probably give Piastri a little bit of a deploy, and we'll try and get him in a nice clear position. If we do a deploy with Pourchaire, can we get him on the back of Lewis? That would be a nice little twist for the end of the race, wouldn't it? If we could get that going, we'd be in a really good position. We're not going to worry too much about saving ERS, but well, actually I say that, we should save some ERS. Just keep things a little bit safe, keep things a little bit nice. Piastri is just about to gap Hamilton. In fact, I think if I go deploy here, we'll probably gap Hamilton and get ourselves free and clear. I know the fuel's getting low, Alex. I can read. Relax. We'll be okay. We'll make it over the line. I promise you. I promise you we'll make it over the line. The checkered flag is out. Ready for the end of this lap. We'll go neutral on Pourchaire. He's gapped on Piastri. Piastri and Pourchaire have gapped their respective Mercedes. And we are 1 lap away now from finally getting some points on the board. Piastri's going to get himself a little cheeky fastest lap bonus point as well, which is certainly going to help our cause towards the back end of the season. We may be back in with a chance of doing some stuff. Pourchaire may be looking like he can save his season as we go into the last lap. Piastri, I don't want to push him on fuel unless I absolutely have to. Looks like Lewis is trying to do a catch-up, so we might have to do a bit of a push. Little bit of a push. I know his fuel is marginal, so we're not going to stress him out too much, but we should be okay. Pourchaire, we just need to get him home. And Alonso has passed George Russell behind us. Is Alonso on better time? Oh, he's on softs. Not inconceivably he can get on the back of us, but they are just about to drop off. That said, Piastri's tyres are also about to drop off, and Hamilton's I might not quite drop off in the meantime. That could be the battle we need to go off board for, is the Piastri-Hamilton battle. That gap could close up very, very quickly. First place has been taken by Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz finishing just 3 seconds behind. Verstappen taking third. Perez about to cross the line to take fourth. We'll have a little look at the replay of Charles crossing the line. He's crossed the line. What a replay that was. Perez should just be about to cross the line. Piastri, though, is about to come home in 5th place. Just needs to make these last 2 corners. He's gone over the line. Can we see the checkered flag out? We should be very, very happy with this. We've taken the fastest lap as well, which is good. Pourchaire coming in over the line as well to make it a 5-7. That is going to be worth, I think, 6 points for us. And Pourchaire has run out of fuel literally the second he crossed the line. Scariest camera in motor racing coming up as we see cars flying across the line. I hope no one's in a battle as they come across here. Magnussen and Norris could be a battle as they cross the line. We could be in trouble if someone decides to... They've just gone single file. They've seen the yellow flags. They've understood what is up. We are doing okay, I think, is what's happening as we speak. Let's have a look at Piastri. At least he's moving. That's gone really well. A 5-7 is a pretty good place for us to finish the weekend of racing here. We are going to be quite happy with that as a finish. There we go. See the garage. Very, very happy with how that's turned out for us. 5 and 7. Everyone looking chuffed. Hopefully Piastri, takes a moment, enjoys this, because I know it's not a win, but it's a good result for us. It's a very, very good result for us as a team. We've done our strategy. We've made that work. 2 stop for Piastri, 1 stop for Pourchaire. I was right in saying that if we'd gone 2 stop with Pourchaire, we were not going to get points with him. I have done everything in my power to maximise that, and we can see there we have got 6 points off the weekend. So we did get the fastest lap, which was nice for us. I don't think it's actually been worth an extra point, has it? That's not gained. We must have got rid of the fastest lap point. That's disappointing. We could have taken an extra point there. It's okay. It's all good. The important thing is we finally got 6 points on the board. Piastri moves up into 9th in the Drivers' Championship. Pourchaire puts himself up into 12th, so jumping himself nicely ahead of Magnussen and Ricciardo. Piastri ahead of Bottas and Norris. Very much a race between Pourchaire and Bottas in terms of points, I think, for that second seat for the second half of the season. But also, most importantly, we're on the board of the constructors and up into 6th with six points. Ferrari and Red Bull are having a kind of run away with it sort of time. We're going to have to do something special to get ourselves back up there. But that is life, and we should get some good points here. Piastri gets a development point. Pourchaire doesn't get a development point. David Schumacher had a run out in the car, gets himself a development point, which is pretty good going. We've got some bonuses we've had to pay out. Or more importantly, though, 5 million in the bank, and I believe we're about to start a brand new ATR period. So that should be very, very useful for us going forward as well. We'll have a little look-see at that once we get ourselves back into the office. I like to think of these screens as simulating the old flights and whatnot. We have got driver development points for everyone. Well, for Oscar, that's going to be a smoothness point because he needs to smooth out his driving. For Teo, I think I would like it if I could get him off the line a little bit faster. That would be good. And for David Schumacher, I guess we just look at what his weakest part of his game is. Braking, we need to get him faster before we worry about doing anything else. There's probably some staff points too. There is. Head of Aero gets a staff point. We'll put that onto DRS Delta. That's going to be quite important for us for the rest of the season. Alex Chan gets a chance to develop. I think feedback is where he needs to work on, because communication, these guys know each other pretty well. He's got himself up overall as well. Beautiful stuff. Nothing there for Spinny. Okay, let's see what's in the inbox. I didn't want to do that. That's good. We have got, at least we've confirmed the new ATR period. That is beautiful. So we can do some part development before we finish the race as well. Part development for us is going to be very important. I think it's going to be a new chassis. 55 days. We can get quite a lot done in 55 days, so I think we're probably just going to use 1.5 hours of that, and we'll go in quarters. I think we can get 4 car parts done in this period quite handily, and our design focus is going to be probably optimizing the aero, because as much as we suck at cooling, I think if we can get ourselves up the grid a little bit on drag reduction, we're probably going to be okay. I'm not going to worry too much about cooling. That will help us out. Can we push that any further without losing anything? There, we'll go there. That'll work out nicely, and then we're going to stick all of our available engineers on it. Is there gains to be made from this? It's a 31-day part. It's not a huge wait. So we're going to go intense, and that will build that up. I don't know what else we're actually... Did we have a thing we need to build? It will tell us if we've got parts we need to build. Confidence check-in, high confidence in our leadership. We're going to get another review in 3 months. We're exceeding our expectations. Our financial report, we've probably got some money in the bank, and we've done well for all of our development. Things are looking okay. Do need to have a little look at facilities before we end this episode as well, just because we have got a trip to Miami to go. I know something, we're upgrading the factory, so that's fine. Staff, facilities, the simulator. Oh, we could just spend on an upgrade for the simulator, couldn't we? That would be okay. That would make David Schumacher's development go a bit better, and we're all okay on here. Do we need to do a hospitality upgrade? We can't even afford to. A weather upgrade would be nice if I could have afforded it, but we'll not worry too much. We're not expecting rain in Miami, so that will be fine. Right, nothing else for us to go through, I don't think. We are coming back for the Miami Grand Prix at Miami Gardens. In terms of car attributes, it's things we're good at and things we're bad at. So acceleration we're good at, high speed we're good at, low speed not so much. So maybe points, maybe not points. Who knows? Anyway guys, let's wrap up the episode. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave comments. More predictions as to where we'll finish this season. Let me know what you think about the Bottas situation. Oh, it's looking like rain. I didn't see the rain. Never rains in Miami. Ooh, that could be interesting. I said never rains in Miami. It never rains in Miami for race season. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. I have been chasing lamely. You've been awesome as always. I'll see you all very soon. Until next time, have a good one.